your dream. We were ordering some treats. You said it would be alright. I tried to stop you, asking why. You started out to face it. My heart went off like crazy. You placed your arms on my head. We fell into my small bed. You started out to face it. My heart went off like crazy. I felt the breath for a second. We were about to make it.
Hi everyone, I'm Carla Cabrera, and it's so nice to see all of you here uh, on our webinar, free webinar for the part one series of personal branding for career growth. So I'm Carla Cabrera. I'm your branding consultant and strategist. And we're going to talk about branding in relation with your career transition, any unemployment, or a promotability. Okay, let me share to you my slides. Okay. Anyway, for any questions, we have the chat room for the Zoom, and I have my partner Marcus D who will queue all your questions because I want to answer them all. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, for a while. All right. I hope everyone can see it. Okay. All right, let's start the ball rolling. So today we're going to have a real talk on career transitions, unemployment, and promotability. These are lessons on personal branding and identity for career growth. So this is part one of my webinar series. For any interactions or reactions, feel free to chat in Zoom and on Facebook Live, I believe, and we're also on YouTube Live. So yeah, so, welcome to the battlefield of knowing, defining, and yes, loving thyself. A lot of people thought personal branding is just an image from the outside, but actually, it's also about self love and knowing and defining yourself. So, I mentioned this is a three-part personal branding webinar series that can be the next method to level up your value and multiply your success. That will greatly benefit not only your life, but most importantly, your career. So, first, I just like to introduce, we have different brands for branding. Branding by Carla is actually a branding consultancy for SMEs and individuals to rise from the power of your own identity. Meaning, kailangan makatayo kayo sa sarili nyo using your own identity, yung pagkatao mo kung sino ka. That's why my tagline is, and my promise to you is, I will empower your identity. Okay, later we'll talk about that first. So first of all, what's my hero complex? Ayan. Of course, I have a mission today, and we want to teach you how to be an employee rockstar in your own right. Diba? If you Google that, being an employee rockstar is actually a hip term to actually show that you're a stellar employee or a performing employee, diba? Who really brings in results. Diba? Like any other rock star who's greatly admired and who always gives their best performance, I want you to reach your potential through the power of branding. I'm sure there's so many ways to reach your potential, no? But this time, today, we will talk about branding, on how to use it. So there are two learning objectives today. First, I will educate you because I think branding needs a lot of education in our country. No, I mean, madami pang pwedeng itap sa potential and power of branding. And of course, I mentioned I want to empower you so you can have a jumping point. Diba? You can be launched to stardom and a strategic position of your skills. Not only your skills alone, but you actually play your skills with value, consistency, which is the most challenging part of branding, and respect. Of course, you have to gain respect for your expertise or strengths in your field of work or business. I'm pretty sure we don't only have employees here. I'm sure we have entrepreneurs in the audience, right? So from different industries, it can apply the same. So number two, convince you that personal branding is a worthy investment of your time and energy, and it's a conceptual tool to find your sweet spot. Ayan, sabi nga nila, when you're flying in your career, Carla, you have found your sweet spot. Alam mo na kung sino ka. Alam mo na kung paano ka mag-strategize sa career mo, tapos nagiging successful ka na, you're gaining the fruits of your labor, because that's called multiplying your success of your life and also your career. Take note, branding is a life skill. And at the end of the day, you have to have clarity and confidence. Kailangan malinaw sa isip at puso para buo ang loob, di ba? So you'll have the confidence to navigate your career. Okay. So, first of all, I want to talk about identity. Yan. That's the most important thing in branding. Because branding, you can't manufacture it. Yeah, it has to be genuine. Kailangan siya totoo. There's this really good quote that I want to share to you by an unknown author. Sabi nga niya, one of the greatest tragedies in life is to lose your own sense of self and accept the version of you that is expected by everyone else. You know, I also do a lot of women empowerment. And we always discuss, there are so many roles to play, especially for women. But at the end of the day, we try to be the ideal woman, pero we forget who we are really, diba? Which we shouldn't, no matter what. And I will discuss that more. Why? Because your identity is the foundation of your personal brand. Kundi walang laman yung brand, no? Walang pagkatao, walang personality. Kaya nga personal brand. And believe it or not, it has a direct impact in your career. So my approach usually, and this is a general approach in branding, is an inside-out approach. It has to come from within, right? And so outside will actually gain momentum. So at the end of the day, lalo na ngayon, COVID pandemic, no? When all else fades, your identity will be your greatest power and asset, di ba? Kahit wala ka ng trabaho, kahit nagta-transition ka sa career, di ba? Buhay ka pa. And there's life, there's hope. And you still have your skill set. So don't ever, ever, ever give up. So identity is very important. So a lot of people thought branding is just really superficial or just an image out there, you know, but it's really deep inside who you are, no? Kumbaga, we always ask, pag may isang powerful na rich individual, take away the money and the status, sino kaya siya? Diba? That's like our usual talk between coaches. Sino kaya siya? That's where you can test if the identity is strong. Diba? When all else fades. So, first of all, diba, you heard, what's your why? So, why are you here? Are you confused with the status of your career? Ayan, diba? I want you to dig deeper because branding is deeper. You know, it's holistic. Do you need answers regarding the next steps of my career? Yan. You have to reflect a little. No? Why are you here? There must be a reason why you attended this webinar. You related to the topic, either you're in transition, you lost your job, or you want to get promoted. And you want to know yourself. Diba? Kasi personal branding, which is a deep dive, by the way. And curious on how personal branding will help my career, diba? A lot of us Filipinos are thinking, ano yung branding? May connect pala sa career. Meron, diba? And I know the speaker. I'm sure I have friends in this webinar, and thank you for your love and support. And so dig deeper. Why are you here? Next is, okay, how I wish, who has, in Zoom, I think you can unmute yourselves. Can I have one volunteer? Is there anyone? Can I ask the host if they can unmute themselves? Or if not, maybe you can chat. My partner, Marcus D, will take note of your answers. Is there any volunteer, Marcus? Maybe we can check.
We have Crystal, Amelie, and Farida.
Okay. Who will be a volunteer for this exercise? Give the best description of yourself in one short phrase. Ayan. Si Engineer ba? Engineer Emeline? Hello, engineer. Can you be our volunteer? You can just don't be shy, and you can just chat. Hello. Okay. Kung wala, sige lang. Please do this in your own. Maybe you can
Okay,
have
Emily is okay.
Okay, great.
Emily Bermudo.
Okay, I'm gonna stand by, ha? So give the best description, best, ha, of yourself in one short phrase. Example niyan. I'm the most exciting, joyful teacher in my school. Yan, di ba? So lalagyan mo lang ng best description about your job. Like, I'm the best troubleshooter na engineer. Yan, whatever field of engineering yan. Are you ready? Engineer Ameline? You can just share it to everyone and we're on standby. I can read it. Yes! O, yan ang gusto ko. That's the spirit, di ba? Can you please share your best description of yourself in the chat? Go, go, go! Mukhang pinag-iisipan pa ni engineer ng malalim ang kanyang best description. You know, this is a test how much you really know yourself. You know, I'm the best PR individual. You want the client here? RC, that's so good, but you're not, you're accepted. You're the owner of Limitless. But thank you for joining. Oh, galing naman. Who else? Engineer Emeline, are you ready? Okay, Rhea shared, I'm the best PR individual. You want the client, you're in. Ganda naman. Okay, let me go to the next slide. While waiting for the rest, thank you for your participation. Excite naman ako, diba? So, after that, can you please ask yourselves, is it authentic? Totoo ba? Diba? Your best description. Is it real? Is it genuine from the heart? Diba? Is it natural? Is it authentic? Does it set you apart? For example, when Maria said, I'm the best PR individual. You want this client, you're in. O, diba? Does it set you apart? Lahat ba ng PR practitioners, ipapromise yon, diba? I'm the best responder of the office. I love it, Engineer Emily. That's so cool. So does it set you apart? Are you the best responder? Walang gumagawa nun, di ba? Does it express your value and good professional reputation? Di ba? By the way, Engineer Emeline is from Masbate. Galing naman. Ang layo, di ba? All the way to Masbate City. So you ask yourself, yung best description mo ba, does it express your value? Your value is something they'll go for, they'll pay for. And does it express a good professional reputation? Diba? Pag sinabi mo yan, I'm the good, kilala namin si engineer, yan ang pinakamabilis na responder ng office. Diba? Is it a viable source of income? Yan. Diba? It has to be compelling enough, your best description. And if you've answered almost all of these questions, it means you are a brand of your own. Yan. Pag may identity, may brand. Okay? Hindi ako pwede dyan sa personal branding. Di ba may identity ka? So everyone needs personal branding. So the first step, this is one of my original quotes that I want to share. The first step in knowing and living your true identity is to believe that you are worthy. I think Rhea and Engineer Emeline has this sense of confidence na, may self-love sila, that they're worthy kasi they can give the best description. Kilala nila yung sarili na, I'm the best responder, I'm the best PR individual, and I can put your client in, diba? You're in, diba? We promise. And, no person or business can reach their maximum potential without a genuine, strong, and consistent identity. Yeah, you cannot grow without a good identity. The good news is maybe you haven't tapped what's the best, side of yourself. Hindi mo pa yan na unfold, diba? It's like onion. You have to peel it layer by layer. So yeah, one thing about it is, first, is it genuine, right? So we have to have a reality check, di ba? Madaming nag-claim na ganito ako, ganyan ako. Totoo ba, di ba? So I wanna dive deeper to that. How do you see yourself? Dapat may sense of, ano yan, realism. And you have to be grounded. And you're also open. What will you reconcile? Are you still confused? Did you see the cat here? Love cats. I can't have one because I'm allergic. But look at this cat on the right, di ba? Masyado naman mataas yung tingin niya sa sarili niya. Unless this is very motivational and inspirational for that cat, he sees himself as a lion. Di ba? He's roaring even though he's purring. And then the other cat naman, he's fine and look at him, he's so cute. But it sees himself as a, scruffy, parang ano tawag doon, the pusakal cat, which is also wrong. So these are both extreme ways of looking at yourself. You cannot underrate or overrate yourself. So you have to reconcile. I have a suggestion on that. The thing is, you can actually, on the part 2, we will have a skills inventory and a personal branding audit that will help you reconcile. But for practical ways, you can always talk to the ones you trust at work. For example, friends kayo na supervisor mo or ng colleague, ano ba yung best description sa akin? Anong perception mo sa akin, di ba? Pwede mong i-check yan. You don't have to do it on your own. Sure, you have to reflect, but you can also talk to the people who really knows you best. You can ask a best friend, a colleague, a supervisor, or clients. Diba? So there's nothing wrong with that as long as you reconcile and accept what is true. Then once you reconcile that, you manage. Okay? So these are my strengths. I'm gonna play my strengths. These are my room for improvements. The downplay ko muna yan, di ba? Importante kung ano yung magbibigay sa akin ng value, yun muna ang i-apply ko. So you manage that with consistency. If you think you're the best responder because it's coming from the heart, it's genuine, there's no need to overcompensate because it's natural that you respond quickly like Engineer Emeline, di ba? Ganun yun. So, and strengthen that. So you know what will give you value, you play it with consistency, and you strengthen it. You have to evolve. You have to equip yourself with tools. Kagaya ngayon, there's so many webinars. What I love about the pandemic is we actually, it's going to reveal another layer of our identity. And there's upskilling, diba? Don't do downskilling, better upskilling, diba? Mas maganda yon. So, yeah, and I'm happy we have 41 participants on Zoom now. And I think we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so that's a reality check on your identity. At the end of the day, you should have a purpose. What wakes you up in the morning and makes you dress up to go to work, right? Or to your office or your business. Your talents and skills is where your purpose lies. True. So, ang talents may natural talents, In the part 2, we will actually do an inventory of your natural talents and skills. And there are skills that are learned or developed because of work and exposure. And you have to marry that and align that, no? Kumbaga, sabi ni Marie Kondo, what sparks your joy? Diba? And then that's where your purpose lies. Okay. And so now, as I mentioned in our topic, this personal branding is directly related and aligned with your career growth. I want to know, where are you at this point of your career? So be honest with yourself, diba? Pareho-pareho tayong we're at a certain point of your career. When we do branding consultancy, we always tell the client, oh, Carla, we're at this point pa lang, or we're too far. It doesn't matter. We will meet you where you're at. Diba? As consultants. Syempre, branding, you can start anytime. It's never too late. It's never too advanced. It's something that's progressing. So where are you at this point of your career? Pare-pareho tayo dyan. May sharing yan. So, are you in a career transition? Ayan, diba? Transition is not change, ha? Nagta-transition ka. When you say change, totally change your job. Like, for example, you're a PR person, suddenly you became an HR manager, di ba? Yun ang change. But transition is a shift happening inside you. You know, it's just a phase of self-reflection. What's my next step? I've been in HR for 10 years, di ba? I'm a manager for 10 years. Maybe it's time for me to transition to have a particular specific expertise. Am I gonna focus on organizational development? Am I going to focus on employee engagement? Yeah, it's a phase of self-reflection. Usually, parang midlife crisis yan, no? Or after a decade of your career, usually it hits you. Maybe it may be a time to let go of something, but not to change. Just let go. Diba? Sometimes you want to be promoted pero ayaw mo because you're happy with your position. Diba? Maybe you let go of that comfort zone and go to the next level. So career transition also prompts you to step back. Like now, COVID pandemic, ang daming stepping back. It's like the great reset of our time. To reflect on shifting your focus to a certain passion or dream that will give you more meaning and balance. Meron sa atin mga nagtatrabaho for decades. Sure, they can endure the work, they can be diligent, they can deliver what's needed for the job, but there's lack of meaning and balance because when you have meaning and balance, that's more sustainable. That will be more strengthened. Pag ganon, di ba? You will grow more. So, maybe painful and confusing, but lalo na ngayon, COVID pandemic, madaming di ba? Na-confuse, na walang ng trabaho, nag-work from home, na-streamline yung reporting hours, no? But if you accept the process, minsan it just becomes quiet. Sabi nga namin sa advertising, walang ganap. Di ba? Walang nangyayari. Sometimes there's this quiet moment of your career. Nothing's happening. It's just plateau. It's just flat. And sadly, because you have accepted it, the opportunities will open when you're ready. Ayan. God is smart, you know. He wouldn't give you anything if you're not ready. Because the first is to accept the process. Maybe it's time to let go of something. It's time to step up. I'm in a transition. I have to accept the challenge in this space I chose for myself. Then sadly, lalabas ang opportunities, diba? Kasi it's energy, diba? When you accept, things will flow already. Okay, so that's for career transition. I want to share, by the way, I went through a career transition myself. O, diba? Yan yung picture ko ng mga nag-reflect ako nung COVID. Actually, I started in corporate events 20 years ago, and it earns. It gave me a career, it gave me a living. So I stayed there, but during the corporate events, I'm also doing branding from day one. But I never defined myself to be in branding. I'm just saying I'm doing corporate events. You know, I never said, but branding is actually something I can give more. It's there, it's been there, but I never positioned myself to be in branding or an expert in branding. But branding, and also as a speaker, has always been in my practice and in my heart and mind. I remember when I was 8 years old, I was already voluntary. I'm a volunteer in our class kasi Teachers Day, di ba? Nag-volunteer teachers. It's a passion brewing inside me. And I know it's something, it's actually the right direction. But, you know, corporate events is so much in the trend, and I'm really earning, and I'm also directing my shows. It's a creative journey for me, and it's a creative hype. So why would I let it go? But I hit a wall, you know. I told myself, okay, maybe I've done enough for events. So that's why, for 2 years, take note ha, hindi to template. May iba nakaka-transition in a month. Then you're great, di ba? It took me 2 years to transition. Gradual, ups and downs, confusion, and all, like what I mentioned a while ago. But, you know, I have already accepted it. I'm having I'm starting to flow again. And funny, this all happened between COVID and during COVID. So yeah, I'm in full transition already. That's why I'm in front of everyone now, speaking about branding. So at the end of the day, just believe in thyself. Especially in our culture as Filipinos, we're always trained at home to follow. Yeah, because we're very family oriented. Nothing is wrong with that. But you have to know who you are at the end of the day. You can't just wear different hats and, playing roles for your parents, for your children. You have to focus also on who you are, because once you're so focused on your identity, it's easy, not easy, but you can believe in yourself clearly. Yan. How can you believe in yourself? You don't even know yourself. Diba? There's going to be a gap there. And don't work in the gray areas because it's just black or white. Yun. Kaya nga, branding gives clarity and confidence. Okay. Oh, engineer. I want to share this. I'm in transition stage of career, currently enhancing skill in human resource management for future company. Honestly, it's quite difficult and different to what I'm supposed to do. I agree with you, engineer. But hey, I hope during our webinar series we can give some enlightenment to you. And my question is, what sparks you? Why are you going to HR from engineering? Yan. Because magaling ka ba sa people skills? Ganyan diba? There's so many disciplines of HR. Actually, my partner Bettina, it's an HR consultant, and maybe you can consult her regarding this matter. Thank you for sharing, engineer. So, okay, we're done with transition. Unemployment naman. Ako, usong-uso yan ngayon. I'm in advertising and I'm also in events, right? So I have so many friends who lost their job because there's no events, I have friends who are directors who's been around for decades, but biglang there's no job for them. My gosh, it's a shock, and I feel for them and how I wish I can give them rockets during this time. And I'm just happy I transitioned already to being a speaker, which happens to be a demand nowadays because of all the virtual events. But, unemployment is actually never easy. Losing a job is never easy. I can only, I cannot speak for many, but iba-ibang pinagdadaanan yan. The stress, the uncertainty, especially nowadays, no? The self-doubt and frustration is real. Parang hire me, how come nobody's hiring me, no? So this is one thing we want to address in our webinar series, especially in the part 2, because we will teach you how to position yourself, no? It's not that I'm so idealistic, but I just want to be optimistic about this. No job, no problem. Look at the opportunities, not the limitations. They're saying that during this crisis, change is accelerated. You just have to really dig deeper and you shouldn't give up. But instead of focusing on searching for a job based on job titles alone, check your skill set, explore other avenues, and look at yourself as a brand. So you should be able to do first your brand positioning as a person for employment, and then maybe it can help imbes na HR manager, hanapin ko sa LinkedIn HR manager job opening or whatever platform, no? Instead of looking HR manager in what sense, right? Which groups can you join so you can have the networking opportunities or get mentors there, and then finally it will lead you to a job. Or fix your, di ba may descriptor sa LinkedIn? Don't just put your job title. Put your value. Put what sets you apart. Di ba? So we're all quite fixed with the job title. Actually, I'm not so sure. People ask, what's your job title? Can you just put, I'm a branding consultant and strategist? So, kasi mas more valuable yun. So open your mind. Expand your choices and translate strong skills to opportunities. That's why the skills inventory exercise on the part 2 is very important, because We will actually audit. We will audit and reconcile, combine your natural talents with your learned skills. Okay, so don't be focused on the job title. You will develop more courage and confidence in what you do at work when you perceive yourself as a brand. Right? We will discuss that more. No, I'm a brand. Hindi yan kayabangan. It's actually setting yourself with value and positioning so you can fly. So next is promotability. With you're with the company for a decade. And hey, bakit hindi ako nabibigyan ng break? Nauuna pa ma-promote yung Miss Bata sa akin. Diba? Maybe there's something wrong on how you communicate your value, how you present yourself. Because once that's clear, you will know how to show your performance. You will know which part of the KPI is key to your promotability. So, 'di ba? I'm amazing, promote me. 'Di ba? Kulang na lang kung pwede mong, 'di ba, i-announce 'yan. Ma'am, sabi mo sa boss mo or sir, I'm amazing. I think you're forgetting or you're missing that point. You think it's time that you deserve to assume a much important role and get a higher raise. 'Di ba? Ano 'yan? Madaming aspect 'yan, 'di ba? The desire to get promoted means you feel a heightened sense of accomplishment. Parang, di ba, I've reached this point in my career. I've done it all. I want to be in the next step. Challenge me. Di ba? Yan yon. And then, choose me for the promotion. Mimi, di ba, nagdi-display ka na? There might be something wrong, di ba? You might be pushing yourself too much or you're not really getting into a deep dive what to do with your skills, diba? You have to be taking extra measures. It's needed to step up and get the desired promotion and position. Pay more attention why people get promoted, diba? Look at actually, if you're conscious with your personal brand, you're also conscious with your brand culture in the office or in the business. You will see what's the key promise or value that my boss is looking for why they get promoted, diba? Hindi dahil sip-sip. Just kidding. Pero, I think you cannot beat a good track record. So study that. How do you stand out in the crowd? For example, you're in a construction company and there's like 50 engineers. Diba? Sabi nga ni Engineer Emilyn, sorry Engineer, ikaw palagi yung example ko because you're the brave volunteer. Diba? But siya yung nagre-respond agad. She has a 24-hour response time compared to the others. It's just she stands out in the crowd and she gets things done within 24 hours or she responds and gives a very good feedback in 24 hours. Diba? So you have to study all of that. Knowing thyself, okay, it is an opportunity to become and to go beyond what we think of ourselves. Sometimes we're the ones limiting ourselves. Ito lang ako, di ba? When there's a new challenge being given to you, fight or flight. Siyempre, dapat fight. But it has to be a sound decision, an informed decision. You should know the facts. Hindi lang dahil malakas ang loob mo, di ba? You should know who you are. Ay, ma'am, hindi ko space yan, di ba? Some people actually resist promotion because they feel like they're not gonna grow in that space or position. And that's fine because you know yourself. But if you put me in this position and promote me in this position, for example, I think I can grow more and I can contribute more to the company. So, ang key talaga is knowing who you are. You cannot just say yes because there's a big compensation being offered, no? But if you're not gonna grow and deliver in flying colors, forget it. Miss masisira ka pa doon. So, next is, siguro naman. So, personal branding can help your career to grow? Absolutely. Let me convince you. So, first, I want you to know the technical description. How do you define personal branding? As you can see, there's corporate branding and there's personal branding. What's the difference? Corporate branding refers to a company, obviously. It's It's about the corporate and brand identity as a whole. Here we always say branding is an organizational function. Everyone has to be part of the solution in building the value and delivering the promise of the company. Whatever is the brand promise, everything evolves around it. Even your frontliners, to your receptionists, to your guards, it's an org function. It's not a marketing function alone. A lot of people thought branding in a company is just the look and feel, diba? The colors, the logo. No, it's actually your identity in a very holistic 360 degrees point of view. It's actually more technical for the corporate branding. And there's a managed brand strategy. There's communication channels and identity system, meaning sometimes there's an operational identity system book or manual that we design for the company. While personal branding, of course, it's for the individual. Kung yung brand, corporate identity sa company, so personal branding, it's about your reputation, your professional reputation. Of course, kasama na rin dyan ang personal reputation. I don't believe that somebody can have a good professional reputation without a good personal reputation. Come on, you're just one person, right? So that's also a managed personal identity. And that's your expertise and that's your skill set. But at the end of the day, pareho rin yan eh. If you can see, there's a unifying factor at the end, no? Beyond logos, colors, and design, branding is your connection to your prospects. Diba? Do they resonate with you? When you apply for a job and somebody's interviewing you, nakakonect ba sila sa'yo, diba? Were you able to attract them in a certain way or connect with them regarding your value, and you were able to empathize also what they want, and you understand where they're coming from? Branding is connection. Okay, same for target market for a company. It's about connection. Actually, nowadays, I always say this during the pandemic, we don't do ads anymore. That's why I focus on branding. I love branding because it's about connection. And I love, as a person, I'm a connecting person. And I hope you will be able to resonate with me after the talk. No, we don't do ads anymore because we do stories. So how do you connect? You should have a value proposition. What value are you offering? What strategy? That means that's your strategic positioning as well. And what's your brand promise? Diba? May promise yan. For example, I was talking in Philinvest, I think last week, their brand promise is we make Filipino dreams happen. Parang we build Filipino dreams. That's their promise. And everything evolves around that, which the license brokers didn't realize that. So I taught them how to align with the brand promise of what they're selling. So stories to tell, di ba? Again, advertising now is medyo off kasi we're about stories, we're about the trust factor because it's so uncertain. So we actually give more empathy now, relevance, yan ang mga importante ngayon in this time of the pandemic. So that's where people connect with you kasi you have a story to tell. And values you stand for, diba? At the end of the day, what are your values? There are brands who converted their marketing budget to their CSR budget just to really help everyone, just to be part of the solution of this pandemic. So those are the things that makes you connect with your prospects. So even your future employer, you can always share what your values you stand for. Sometimes we become so technical about our job, we forget the human side, which is I think very important. So and again, I have to tell you some false perception about branding. Personal branding is not narcissistic, diba? It's not being vain or exaggerating your self-importance. No. Take note, branding is not extreme. Narcissism is extreme, diba? Which is uso ngayon sa social media, no? I'm the best, whatever, diba? Kaya nga, dapat yan may identity check, diba? It's actually positioning your value. It's not exaggerating your self-importance and getting so much attention. with that. No, you just get the attention because you connected with your prospects. It's not conceited, di ba? It's not selfish either. Pag nag-branding ka, is it just about me, 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 me? No, it's not. Some would resist and say, ito reality to. Madami pa rin nag-resist sa branding, even companies. I'm a silent worker. My results will speak for myself and that's fine. Not nowadays. Tahimik na lang ako basta I'm working, di ba? Well, it's a different ball game now. Branding is a necessity. We're in a digital age. The marketplace is so competitive. You have to do something and you cannot be silent in one corner, di ba? And I want to be low profile. No need to put out what I'm good at. Yan. Madami tayong ganyan kasi as a culture, as Filipinos, we don't want to really talk about who we are. We're so shy. But there's really nothing wrong about it. Especially, you already have social media now. You can put it at good use. I have personal issues and problems in my life, so I don't want to do branding. Okay, you don't have to highlight your personal issues and problems. That's drama. Branding is different. It's more realistic and value-driven. I don't think I'm good enough to have a brand of my own. Diba? Going back, first things first, identity. Do you believe you're worthy? Diba? Kasi ang taas ng tingin sa branding. I'm not a brand. I'm just Carla. Diba? But actually, it's a necessity. My client would ask, Carla, do I need branding? Sir, that's not anymore a question nowadays. It's a necessity to set yourself apart, to stand out, and tell your prospects that this is your difference, diba? This is your point of difference. And this is what makes you unique. And this is what I believe in. Guess what? Elvis Presley had a job and he has issues too. But he's the greatest rock star of all time, diba? Si Elvis Presley, daming family problems yan, diba? He has issues. But hey, he made it as far. How I wish he didn't take drugs though. But yeah, he's an icon. Personal branding, but personal branding is not only for celebrities. You don't have to be Elvis Presley, but mind you, Elvis is also a person with a job. It just so happened his job is to sing and dance, an entertainer. But it's still a job. It is a must for everyone, especially in this digital age and a competitive marketplace like what I mentioned. Plus, it's another life skill to learn, diba? You always want to have clarity and confidence in your life, right? You have to set yourself apart and you have to stand out. Even in your own space, maaring sa company mo lang yan, and that's fine. Doesn't have, may circle of influence. It starts in your inner circle, which is your family and friends, and then your workplace. Then you can go regional in your province, and then you can go global. Why not the world? Sabi nga ni Lea Salonga. And then you deserve to be known in what you're good at. A lot of people, I can see a lot of employees who's very good at something, but, they don't want to put it out there. And they've been working so hard every day of their lives, and they don't get what they deserve. Maybe because you don't position yourself the right way. You cannot have a jumping point, or you cannot fly. Kasi okay naman ang masipag, but also you have to let the world know. Okay? So I have a very practical example. Who knows the popular guard of Ayala Malls? Yan. His name is Manong Rizal. I'm sure you encountered him. Good morning. Welcome to Ayala Malls. I think he's saying that 1,000 times in a day without fail. My gosh, the dedication. Maybe that's really natural, di ba? Na-find na ni Manong Rizal yung sweet spot niya as a guard. He is the only guard that I know, in my life, by the way, who greets almost every person with much cheers and has a signature tone of voice. Diba? It wakes you up. Parang you pass by the guards lang, kala mo they have a very passive work lang. Diba? We take them for granted. Then, he's a very memorable dude. He is already a brand at his own right, and I'm sure he is most likely to get hired with a better salary compared to his colleagues. Why? because he stands out. He was able to set himself apart just for one point of difference. By the way, this is given by my friend Pierre Montserrat, the chief HR officer of East West Bank. Thank you. Di ba? Na-witness niya si Manong Rizal. So if you're telling me just for celebrities, that's not true. Diba? Look at Manong. So 1 to 2 points of difference can be effective enough to set your value while establishing a respectable and excellent body of work and a stellar track record in your own space. Actually, 1 point should be enough. More than that, or more than two, it's already confusing. You have to know you with one consistent point of difference. So ngayon, after that, decide if you want to be relevant. Of course, everyone has to feel important, you know. Like us, when we were doing corporate events, we're as good as our last project. Even though you mounted yourself for decades, if you failed in one, wala ka na, di ba? So we always strive to be relevant in whatever we're doing. It has to be excellent, no excuse. Not perfect. Excellent is different from being perfect. By the way, nobody's perfect, so don't go for that. So I have this analogy. Do you want to be the needle inside the haystack? Galing-galing mo, hindi ka naman mahanap. Diba? People don't know you. You're not on top of the food chain. Or you're on top of the haystack. Meaning, even though you're as small as a needle, you're on top of the haystack. People know what you're good at. And they see your LinkedIn. Actually, when employers when they hire employees, they also check your social media. It's part of the checking. It's part of your credentials already. They're gonna check your LinkedIn, even your Facebook. They try to check even your personal life because it's also an indication of your personality or character, which is so important when it comes to your work. Diba? Sometimes they look for character rather than skills. Kasi if you have the right character, madali ka i-train, especially for the young ones. Diba? Magaling ka nga, talented ka nga. Sabi nga ni John Maxwell, meron siyang mga ano niyan parang combinations, parang excellent talent, bad character, nagiging good talent na lang. Diba? Character is so important. So, you have to be on top of the haystack. Maybe on top of you do blogs, you post relevant issues or quotes that's related to your expertise. Yeah. On part 3, we will teach you how to do your content plan as a person. So, what will you do now to your career? Madami, no? You have to think. You want to redefine yourself. Maybe you're so good, but you can't find the gold and you cannot define and you cannot really pinpoint what you will put there. I have a partner. I have my 2 business partners now. I was able to position them and give them their descriptors in LinkedIn, and it's helping them a lot, right? So that's Marcus and Bettina. Finally, because it's clear to them, it's giving them confidence. They're doing what it takes now for how to be on top of the haystack. Or you want to reposition ba? 'Di ba? Parang mali ata yung positioning ko sa sarili ko, which we can discuss on the part 2 of this webinar. Or you want to reinvent. Talagang total to, ha? Reinvention, meaning talagang papalitan mo na. Change of career ka na. Kasi meron ka. But, for example, I know a professional. She's a nurse. And now she's a full-time visual artist. Sabi ko, how did you do that? I became a nurse because it's in demand. My parents want me to be a nurse and they want me to go to the States. But inside me, she's always drawing. She's painting all her life on the side. Until sabi niya, Miss Carla, hindi ko na kaya. I will let go. I don't want to be a nurse anymore. I will be a full-time artist. And she's doing great. She's one of the promising our female artists in our country. And I'm also giving her some mentorship every now and then. So yun, kasi talagang nag-fly siya dun sa reinvention. Yeah? Make sure you evolve properly, and realistically, or you just want to revitalize, revitalize who you are, revitalize your career, your position. Maybe this time you want to be in employee engagement instead of organizational development. I'm sure HR people know that because in engagement, it gives you more vitality. It sparks your joy, to do programs and design programs for employees. So yeah, what will you do with your own career? So anyone with a job, by the way, a job is, I think, technical. A career is more proper to call. Kina-career, di ba? Sabi nga nila, it's worthy to have a claim for fame by effectively defining what sets them apart. Everyone has a claim for fame, hindi lang artista. So, okay, in the next webinar series, there's a big picture. You always have to see your big picture. What's your future? Diba? What am I doing now? Is this good for the next 5 or 10 years? Right? I was a guest at the new channel with a very famous coach, si Lloyd. Diba? He's always asking a last question. Carla, what's your big picture? I said, whatever transition you're doing now, and even though it's normal already, it will have a permanent change. And whatever layer of your identity is revealing, you have to think of the big picture. Maybe this is a great reset, that this job or this career or this transition you're doing at this point of time will be your job until you retire. When I transitioned to branding, I said, this is it. It's working. Kasi may proof of concept yan. Hindi lang dapat sa isip yan, no? Meron kang traction na nabibuild. You're solving pain points of that certain space. You're contributing to the industry. Well, that's in a bigger picture. But it's working. And I told myself branding will be I don't know if I want to retire here, because branding, you don't have to retire, especially if you're a consultant and you own your own business. So the big picture starts with the individual identity. Then we create your personal brand. And then, of course, your personal brand first is your name, your positioning, your descriptor. Then we connect. That's branding. We start connecting with that positioning. Then at the end of the day, you can retire when you're 70 years old. You can say, I'm a branded person in my own right. So that's the big picture. And for the execution, we're doing now mind setting. That's why we're mapping your identity, but we can do that more in the part 2. And then the key benefits, you have to know what branding will give your life and your career. So I'm doing your mind setting. Sometimes it starts with the mind. Of course, everything starts in the mind, no? Meaning mali lang yung mindset. Like, madaming barriers yan. Sometimes it's our culture, sometimes because you had the past, or there's something negative in your past, which you can correct, by the way. It's never too late. You can still be a brand in spite of. And then we do this too. Then you will realize, we have to go to facts, which is the skills inventory. That's the personal branding audit and your positioning. And then, pag alam mo na-realize mo na yung inventory mo, what you can do, we plan. And that's energizing you on your career plan and your content plan. Kahit LinkedIn lang yan, that's fine. We will identify communication channel, and then we will implement, meaning that's where empowerment comes in. Coaches like us in branding, even for companies, we will have to be there at a certain point only. Your people, your owner, your founder should walk the talk and live their brand, live and breathe their brand, and champion it themselves. Diba? Hindi lang yung consultant or ad agency gagawa niyan. So you walk the talk, you execute your plans, and live your brand. Diba? And that's it. Any questions? So, hello, everyone. So feel free to have questions. Maybe I should stop sharing first. Okay. Any questions? So I want to actually entertain questions not only in Zoom but also in YouTube and Facebook Live. If we can capture it, hopefully. Ang daming windows. That's what's good with streaming, no? Okay. Any questions? Feel free. Yeah? Okay. Parang walang questions. Malinaw na malinaw ata. Any questions, guys? Okay. Anyway, while waiting for the questions, let me plug you our webinar series part 2 and part 3. Okay. While waiting for that. Okay. So the part 2, in the Employee Rockstars webinar series is about positioning you. That will be on November 6th. Same time, it's a Friday at 5 o'clock. And live via Zoom, and also YouTube and Facebook. I think, no, it's not live in YouTube and Facebook, just at Zoom. Zoom lang to. It's a paid webinar already for part 2. So what we will cover are key questions to guide your personal branding. We will determine your strategic positioning that sets you apart through a skills inventory method and a personal branding audit. And know how to build your value that will lead you to a more profitable compensation based on a more consistent and stable point of difference in skills and expertise, and how to prepare an effective resume with the application of personal branding. Ayan, diba? That's part 2. That's November 6th. Just visit the Limitless links on their Facebook to register. And part 3, sorry, that's November 13th. Okay, let me correct that. Sorry. That's November 13th. That's also Friday at 5 p.m. It's about launching your brand. Of course, no. If you make your own personal brand, you have to launch it already. You have to communicate that.
Question from Marie Ann.
Okay, let me end this.
So,
okay, resume review with the application of skills inventory and personal branding audit, and know how to craft your content plan aligned with your career plan for social media. And learn from a testimonial of an expert who went through real life career challenges and achieve clarity and confidence on how to navigate a progressive career path by living in a mindful personal branding plan. Okay, we go back to the questions. Okay, let me see. Okay, hello, ma'am. Can you give an advice for those individuals na hanggang ngayon nahihirapan pa rin lumunok ng pride? Okay? Because they need to turn or transit into new normal. So far to survive, they need to create new career na mas mababa compare sa dati nilang trabaho. This is from Marie Ann Reyes. Okay, thank you for that, Marie. I always call pride as fried chicken. Okay? Okay, remember the career transition I mentioned. You have to have acceptance. Upskilling is not about degrading yourself. You're just trying to have a backup skill that will make you survive during this time. It can be temporary, but it can also open doors to what you really want to do. Right? So, ang pride kasi, malaking barrier yan sa buhay, hindi lang sa career. So, you have to really, again, you have to be realistic about your identity. What's my barrier now? It's my pride. So, you're gonna give in to your pride, or you're gonna give in to what's realistic and practical nowadays. But at the end of the day, you know that it will lead to something. It will open doors. For example, I have a spinner for 10 years. No? He's spinning music in events and advertising. And now I learned he's selling real estate. Okay, why? Because he's charming. He's talented. Perhaps he's using his natural talents to explore another avenue for the meantime. But I'm sure at the end of the day, he's one of the best spinner in our country. He will go back to that. But what you will learn in whatever you try will be permanent. It will open doors
One
and
more.
can actually complement what you really do. So if your pride is not an option nowadays, in fact, it's the great reset. Minsan, COVID didn't choose whether you're rich or poor, male or female, you will get it, right? So please adapt or die. That's what I'm always saying, adapt or die. And I promise you, it's going to be, if it's not for you, at least you learn something in that space, right? And that's why when you do something else, make sure that it's quite related to where you're good at. Okay, I hope that helps, Marie. Another from SM. Vosotros. Oh, interesting name. What is your career tip or personal branding for a full time startup founder to purposely find a relevant part time work? Okay. First of all, I need to know what is your startup business. Diba? I know a lot of people who's doing startup business, but at the same time, they're doing something else on the side. Diba? Kasi, but those startup needs a lot of full attention. Unless, economically speaking, it can't work for now and you have to put it on standby. But it needs full dedication. And if you're a founder, you have to have the grit, diba? Na not to give up on that compelling business. And if you want to purposely find a relevant part-time job, that's where we do the skills inventory. What's related that will complement again your startup business? That would be more of a good investment of time and energy. So you can still have your startup in mind, diba? For example, a startup business mo, let's say urban farming, diba?
You responded.
Yeah. Healthy food and nutrition service. Oh, tama. Platform. Okay. Because on the side, depends. I have to know you more. If probably you can consult individually or you can be a coach for nutrition, right? On the side while starting up your healthy food and nutrition service platform, which is very interesting, by the way. I would love to hear more about that, SM. So please contact me later. I'll give
New question.
my email address, and maybe on the side you can do consultancy. I have to know you more. Okay, thank you. Next from Ria. Is there any particular personality testing you subscribe to, such as Myers Briggs, so people can tell their authentic self? Okay, actually, I have a partner who's an expert on HR and these things. I cannot answer that because I'm not an HR practitioner. What I can do is just a basic skills inventory and personal branding audit. But if it's about the personality, that's more psychological, right? So there are psychological exams for that. Kung talagang you want to dig deeper about your personality. Kasi di ba may mga types of personality yan. And it's part of HR too. So I can recommend you about that. But you know what? Being authentic is basically being real to yourself, is do the things you love. What sparks you? Where are you drawn at? That's where your real self is. Diba? You start with hobbies. Diba? Once you're drawn to something, like me, I love fine arts. I also love food. Diba? It says something about your personality on a practical point of view. But yes, you can take an exam. I'm pretty sure you can have something like that. Okay. Thank you, Ria. Anyone else? Any more questions? Happy ako sa questions nyo, ah. Deep. I think we have an incoming question in FB. Maybe the admin can throw it here in the private. Yan. Okay. Renee. Hi, coach. Is it okay to feel lost? Like I do not have an idea on what next step I should do. I'm currently unemployed. effective last month because I honestly don't feel the spark of joy anymore to my work. I feel like since the pandemic, I woke up, go to work, and go home. Yet I don't feel productive at all. I felt tired and decided to let go of my work, and now I don't know where to start. You know, Renee, if there's life, there's hope. I don't agree that you don't have a spark of joy. There is something somewhere out there inside you. So do not worry about that. Maybe this is the time that, again, the skills. I really hope you guys attend the part two because that's where we will do an inventory of your skills. Kasi minsan, on top of our mind, we cannot figure it out. You have to go through a measure. You have to do the science and the art of your identity. And I think that's more of your identity, Renee, and you have to discover more of yourself. Instead of giving up or withdrawing, fight or flight, diba? You have to be brave enough to discover your opportunities out there, diba? Go online, list your natural talents and your learned skills. 'Di ba? And yes, it's normal to be lost sometimes because that's human, but make sure it doesn't linger long. You don't focus on that because what you focus on amplifies and magnifies. So you have to go through that, a little grieving process. Hindi ka nag-iisa. Madaming dumadaan dyan. But you have to just snap out of it and try to go through a transition already and adapt. And there are so many ways to get yourself back on track. And I hope this webinar will also help you. Attend the part two, please. And again, you can email me for other questions, if ever, because our time is very limited online. Thank you, Renee. Do we have any questions, pa? Online training. Okay. Great questions. Any more? I'm very challenged. And I'm happy because my webinar, my content is getting through. I think you guys are resonating with me, and that's the main thing. Like Renee here, she's trying to have clarity and confidence, and that's the end goal of branding and knowing who you are. And please remember, you're worth it. You're worth it to have another step, another level of growth in your career. So wag bibigay, di ba? Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, I think that's about it. How I wish I have so much time and I can see you all in person. And this is, I love the questions and the participation. Please remember, especially to the last one who asked me a question, people of substance don't fade, they evolve. Nobody fades as long as you're alive. So please allow yourself to evolve. And this time of the crisis is the best time to set yourself apart because let the challenge push you upward, not downward. And sure, we're only human, so everyone adjusted, including myself. I also had a lot of adjustments, a lot of denial period. But I'm okay now. Nagulat lang ako kasi, diba? So dynamic, suddenly you're in quarantine and you can't make things happen. And I'm a person who makes things happen. So, but again, I made the best of this time. It's an opportunity to reveal another layer of yourself. It should be for the good. So please decide, I'm awesome. Everyone is awesome. Everyone has a place here on earth. Please believe me. Nobody's an outcast. Nobody's less. Everybody can be more. It's up to you. Just decide to be awesome. Sabi nga sa Limitless, diba? Keep on learning and be awesome. And please, okay, I'm a visible expert. Okay, I have 3 brands that we have. Creation 7 Asia is for end-to-end branding solutions for companies. The Blake Project, which we recently acquired, we're already a partner. They're from Los Angeles, California. We have a global partner. And Blake Project focuses on brand strategy. and training and branding education. And Branding by Carla is basically for SMEs and individuals. So let's talk. I have a consultancy calendar on carlacabrera.asia, especially for individuals. Just schedule there. And this is our website for creation7asia.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Branding by Carla, and you can connect with me in LinkedIn, Carla Cabrera. So thank you very much. You can email me any more questions at morenacab@creation7asia.com. And thank you so much to Marcus for assisting me in the questions. And my Chief Engagement Officer is also here, Bettina Chongbian. We are a team of consultants ready to unleash your potential and your identity through the power of branding. Allow us to empower you. And thank you so much. You're such a great audience today. Okay, any more? Okay, I just want to, I think, thank you, Engineer Emmeline. Thank you for being my volunteer. I love it. I love your testimony. Thank you. And LPC Admin is posting already all the online training full course on part 2, which is positioning you, and part 3, which is launching your brand. Both November 6th and November 13th. And there's a link to register in the Zoom. And I think they're posting it also on YouTube, on Facebook Live. Thank you, everyone. And again, believe in thyself and decide to be awesome. Bye. Thank you.